Hey, and welcome to worshiptutorials.com. My name is Bradford. Today we're going to be looking at a AC15. This is AC15c1, and we got this from Sweetwater, but the only difference between this and any other AC15 is the fact that it is red. Celestian greenback speaker in it, that's standard. It's got the 12AX7 tubes and EL84s, and it sounds great. If you are looking for a good amp, this is one of our suggested amps, this and a Blues Junior. Those were two of our suggestions. They're on the lower end of price, but they do not sacrifice quality. They are great. So we're gonna have some fun with this today. So this amp is awesome. It's very versatile. I hadn't actually spent a lot of time with AC15s before getting this one in. It's very dynamic. It responds to pick attack just like you would want it to. It's got onboard tremolo and onboard reverb. They're great. They do need a foot switch that doesn't come with it, though if you'd like to access that like on the fly, or if your amp's close enough to you, you can just dial the knobs if you want to do that. I love it. I love tremolo. Sometimes I literally only use it to strike one chord for 4 counts, so that's not really practical for me personally, and I think that's a point worth noting if you're looking for something like that. They sound great, but you need a foot switch. Now these amps have two channels. They have a normal and they have a top boost. We're plugged into the top boost because it has just a better circuit, first off, but they have an EQ control. The normal channel bypasses that, but you do get to use the tone cut in the normal, which is awesome, and adds a little bit or subtracts a little bit depending on how you're using it. But the top boost, you get the volume, treble, and bass to mess with. Obviously the reverb and tremolo, and we're going across the top here. And then the tone cut and the volume, the master volume. I have the tone cut right now at about noon. Tellies are a little bright. I would rather dial in the amp, sounded real great down here at the neither top boost EQ, and get the bass up and the treble back a little bit and cut some of the tone from the top boost. It kind of takes that out of the whole sound of the amp as opposed to just taking out of this preamp kind of section. And I got the volume at about 1030, and then the volume on the top boost channel is probably more about 10 o'clock. So there's a little bit of headroom there, but also this is great for dynamics, which is I'm going to show you right now. We are using our MJT Telly style guitar with some Porter pickups, vintage style pickups. I'm in the middle position. I just float to that anyways. It almost doesn't matter what kind of guitar it is. I just float to that personally. But here's a little bit, no verb, no trem. This is just the amp. We are running through a board, but we're not using anything on it. So that's just with the amp, almost matched with the top boost channel volume and the master volume. So there's not giving you too much headroom. I'm digging in and I'm getting a lot of grit out of the amp, which is awesome, which is how I like to run stuff. But if we add something like a tube screamer, still the dynamics are very similar. Obviously adding more grit is going to give you more grit. But you know, you back off some dynamic wise, this amp reacts with it. Okay, so now we are going to add some dirt from an 808 style pedal from Will Sledge Effects. He's one of our good buddies. Check his stuff out. But I'm gonna show you how, with leaving that on, not turning it off, dynamics this amp has and how good the dirt sounds going through this. A lot of pedals are tube screamer variants, so I'm sure you have something like that on your board. Or you may be looking at grabbing something like that. And that combination sounds great. So here's that with a little bit of analog delay and the 808 style. The analog delay also provided by our buddy at Will Sledge Effects. Ooh, yeah. So here we go. So as you can see, it gets along with tube screamers quite well. So we're gonna be showing you how this amp sounds with some humbuckers. We got this Zach Myers PRS guitar. It is semi-hollow. That's not gonna matter. It's just gonna sound awesome because Brian and I love some semi-hollow stuff. These humbuckers are also from Porter, and they're great. So we're gonna show you how these sound. We have a White Horse, which is a copy of a Horsey drive, mythical Horsey drive, from our buddy Will Sledge as well. We just love him, clearly. So this is what this sounds like. We've adjusted the EQ a little bit. So essentially what we did was we took the knobs and we took them from where they were for the Tele, and everything is now the exact opposite. So the bass was at about 1 o'clock. It's now at 11 o'clock, and the treble was about 11 o'clock, and now it's at 1 o'clock, so that kind of thing. And I kept the volume about the same. I took the tone cut. It was about at noon. It's now at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock or so. And so we don't need as much tone cut here because these aren't as bright. I actually need less of that. So here's how it sounds. You're gonna get to hear some of the dynamics. We're on the bridge pickup because it just sounds awesome and rocking on the Zach Myers PRS. So that was just me backing off a little bit. I didn't touch volume knobs. I didn't touch anything. So not only is this pedal great, but obviously this amp is responding to our dynamics really well, which I really care about in my amps, is how well does it respond to picking dynamic. This guy's got it. Okay, so we're gonna show you something now, real simple. We got some verb, we got some delay, and I'm just gonna show you how this sounds into the ambient setting. I know that's gonna be crucial for worship players, for transitions, or just, you know, quieter parts of a song. That's what you wanna do with a little bit of pads underneath, which we so happen to have multiple glorious versions of. If you're gonna be using that, but this amp does great for that. I don't know how any amp wouldn't be great for that. Just because, you know, you throw some verb and delay, it's gonna sound awesome. But nonetheless, I feel like it's important to show you. So we actually have yet another awesome pedal from Will Sledge. He's getting some like advertising up the wazoo in this video. We got his Boss DM2 kind of clone as an analog delay. I have it dimed on the time. I like my analog delays to be longer. So I have that, and then I have the Eventide time factor with a little bit of delay. Honestly, the time on this isn't pertinent because I'm doing some swells here, and we have the space with the Mod Echo verb, which sounds awesome. So that's what we're working with. I'm gonna play a little bit. I'm gonna tap in a little more of a tempo for about the speed I'm gonna play. Here we go. So this is the Vox AC15. We love it. I love it. It is an iconic amp on multiple different records, multiple different styles. It can cover a lot of ground. It is a staple in the praise and worship industry. You know, lots of people use it, or variants of it. There are lots of hand wired versions of something like this. And you know, it's a great sounding amp with a great price, and it just looks good too, you know, if you were to put this on stage. I personally think it looks great regardless of what color, but the red is awesome. But with pedals, without pedals, with the amp verb and the trem, with your own pedals you're throwing onto it to do the verb and the trem, however you want to use this thing, however you feel that you want to dive into the world of amps and guitar pedals and guitars, I would say this is definitely on your list of things to check out if you're looking. Thanks for watching. Thanks for checking out the videos. Subscribe, check out the website. We'll see you next time.